Let me go now go right now. We're going to be joined right now as we speak and stop speaking with Zell Miller, the man who made the speech. Senator, thank you. You have, well, don't listen to them. Don't listen to those people. We want to hear from you, Senator. Senator, let me ask you. I want to ask you about the most powerful line in your speech, and it had so many. No pair has been more wrong, more loudly, more often than the two senators from Massachusetts, Ted Kennedy and John Kerry. Do you believe that John Kerry and Ted Kennedy really only believe in defending America with spitballs?
Well, I certainly don't believe they want to defend America by putting the kind of armor and the kind of equipment that we've got to have out there for our troops. I mean, nothing could be clearer than what John Kerry did when he voted against that $87 billion in appropriations that would have provided protective armor for our troops and armored vehicles.
Senator, you're the expert. Many times as a conservative Republican, you've had to come out on the floor and obey party whips and vote against big appropriations passed by the Democrats when they were in power. You weren't against feeding poor people. You weren't against Social Security. You weren't against a lot of programs that, because of the nature of parliamentary procedure and combat, you had to vote against the whole package. Didn't you many times vote against whole packages of spending when you would have gladly gone for a smaller package?
Well, I didn't make speeches about them, and I didn't put them in my platform. Right here is what John Kerry put out as far as his U.S. Senate platform was. He was talking about he wanted to cancel the MX missile, the B-1 bomber, the anti-satellite system. I mean, this is not voting for something that was in a big bill. Which
of those systems was effective in either Afghanistan or Iraq? The MX certainly wasn't, thank God, nor was the satellite system.
Look, this is front and back, and it's 2 pages. I've got more documentation here than they've got in the New York Public Library and the Library of Congress. I knew you was going to be coming with all of that stuff, and I knew that these people from the Kerry campaign would be coming with all this kind of stuff. That's just baloney. Look at the record. A man's record is what he is.
I agree. I'm just asking you,
a man's campaign rhetoric. What?
I'm just asking you, Senator, do you mean to say, I know there's rhetoric in campaigns, I just want to know, do you mean to say that you really believe that John Kerry and Ted Kennedy do not believe in defending the country?
Well, look at their votes.
Wait a minute.
I said I didn't question their patriotism.
No, do you believe that they don't believe in defending the country?
Their judgment. What?
Do you believe they want to defend the country?
Look, I applaud what John Kerry did as far as volunteering to go to Vietnam. I applaud what he did when he volunteered for combat. I admire that, and I respect that. And I acknowledge that. I've said that many, many times.
Right. But I'm just asking you as an expert.
I think his record is atrocious.
Well, let me ask you. When Democrats come out, as they often do, liberal Democrats, and attack conservatives and say they want to starve little kids, they want to get rid of education, they want to kill the old people. That kind of rhetoric is not educational, is it?
Wait a minute. Now, this is your program, and I'm a guest on your program.
Yes,
and so I want to try to be as nice as I possibly can to you. I wish I was over there where I could get a little closer up into your face. But I'm not going to have to stand here and listen to that kind of stuff. I didn't say anything about not feeding poor kids. What are you doing?
No, I'm saying that when you said tonight, I just want you to...
Well, you're saying a bunch of baloney that didn't have anything to do with what I said up there on the roster.
Okay, you believe, Senator, truthfully, that John Kerry wants to defend the country with spitballs. You believe that?
That was a metaphor, wasn't it? You know what a metaphor is.
Well, what do you mean by that metaphor?
Wait a minute. He certainly does not want to defend the country with B-1 bomber, or the B-2 bomber, or the Harrier jet, or the Apache helicopter, or all those other things that I mentioned, and there were even more of them than here. You've got to quit taking these Democratic talking points and using what they say.
No, I'm using your talking points and asking you if you really believe them.
Well, use John Kerry's talking points from what he's had to say on the floor of the Senate, where he talked about them being occupiers, where he put out this whenever he was running for the U.S. Senate, about what he wanted to cancel. Cancel, to me, means to do away with.
What did you mean by the following?
I think we ought to cancel this interview.
Well, I don't mean, but please. Well, that would be my loss, Senator. That would be my loss. Let me ask you about this, because I think you have a view on the role of reporters in the world. You said it has often been said so truthfully that it is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us the freedom of the press. Was there not?
You believe that?
Well, of course it's
Do you believe
true.
that?